What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Fightful.com podcast, November 7th edition. It is our 100th episode. I don't know what that says about us that we did 100 episodes of the Fightful podcast in like 4 months. Hot damn. Either way, we are brought to you by draftbeast.com. I already won my week in fantasy football. I didn't even need my quarterback tonight, so I continue to take your money. It seems almost unfair, but keep going to draftbeast.com and giving it to me. Also on it, go to our podcast page, fightful.com/podcast. Open up any of those podcast pages and you'll see that blue on it link. Hey, you heard the reaction Bailey got tonight? It's probably because she takes Alpha Brain. I think that's the reason, is a bunch of Shroom Tech and Alpha Brain. We are joined by new associate editor, Alex Pawlowski. Alex, how was your first day on the full-time job?
I'm learning the ropes, but I'm learning from the best. I haven't done anything like this before. I'm mostly just a feature writer, make the people laugh with my words, but now I got to do all the smart stuff and keep everybody in line, and that's interesting. I do want to show you over my shoulder here. I do have a number 100.
Oh, shit.
Because had I known that this was going to be the 100th episode, I would have done the whole thing up. We would have had balloons dropping and confetti, but I only found out about this about an hour ago, a couple hours ago. So that's all you get is a number 100.
I found out about it when I looked at our playlist, our Fightful.com playlist on YouTube, and I saw 99 in the Fightful podcast, which means I have done over 200 podcasts since June of last year. Absurd. Wow. Also, we have a special guest, you guys. Some of you saw her very well-received segment, which has yet to be named, on Fightful.com this week. She hails from a land down under. She's Anna Bauert. Anna, how the hell are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm wearing my Michael Cera shirt in celebration of 100 shows. So,
what's the significance of that to the number 100?
I didn't have anything else. That's party dress. This is my party dress. So, yeah.
I can get down with that. I'm cool with Michael Cera.
Yeah,
he was fine in This Is the End, the best version of Michael Cera we have ever seen.
Yep.
Anna, for those who didn't see the segment, tell the people a little bit about what you're doing for Fightful.
It's basically the most ridiculous spots in WWE each week. Not all bad. I wanted to clarify that because I really hate podcasts and all that just bury the product. It's why?
Oh, you're gonna love it tonight.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is reason, but there is always good in everything. Whatever. Yes.
You picked a weird time to tell two Americans there is good in everything.
That's why I backed away from what I was saying.
We are facing one of the most terrifying elections of all time. Somebody says, where's the hot Asian podcaster? Well, she's on her honeymoon right now, so instead we have a hot Australian podcaster. I'm so sorry. I guess the Australian continent doesn't do it for people, Anna. What do you have to say about this? Your first bit of negativity.
You know what? No. You know what? Personal preference. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Somebody else says Anna has a potty mouth. I encourage that potty mouth, actually. An actual message that I sent to her said, feel free to curse liberally. So there you go.
Yeah. My parents weren't too happy with that, but
they weren't? Did you show it to them?
I think they're watching right now.
Really?
Very weird for me, but yeah.
I don't think my mom's ever watched a podcast that I've done. Alex, does your family watch our shows?
My mom watches all these just to hear my voice because she lives 2,000 miles away.
Really?
Yeah. She's never watched wrestling. She pretty much hates it. So she has no idea who we're talking about. She did take note of one time where I said that AJ Styles could hit my own mother with a chair and I'd still cheer for him. And she was very upset about that. But no, she listens, and I'm sure she's listening right now. So,
guys, there's a few things I want to get into. Obviously, we had the busiest weekend of features ever at Fightful.com. A lot of times in this business, you worry about not having enough content. I had way too much content this weekend, like between Aaron Hyden's spare room feature, the Showdown Joe stuff, the Vince Russo exclusives we had, the Matt Riddle podcast, our best one we've ever done. I had like a ton. So I compiled them all into one article. Go check that out. Lots of cool stuff coming to Fightful.com. Tons of viewing parties too, between Bellator, the Eddie Bravo Invitational, UFC on Saturday. And this Saturday, if you are not an MMA fan, I still encourage you to check out our UFC 205 viewing party, the biggest MMA show ever, period. Ever. It is a giant show. Please check it out. Hang out with the Fightful.com crew and all the people on our Discuss forums. Also, our Fightful forums have been overhauled. Go over there, hang out. They have been a little more active. I need to address the Vince Russo thing. So, I mean, Vince called me today, and I wondered where his head would be at. And his heart was just not in it. And we were not going to hold a guy to a contract if his heart was not in it. His heart wasn't in it before what happened. And I would imagine him losing his mother just multiplied that. And if you read his Raw reviews, you could tell he didn't want to do that anymore. And that's understandable. And losing somebody like your mother, that really magnifies the situation. And we didn't want to keep a guy somewhere where he would feel like it was a chore to do something like that. And he wants to branch out and do non-wrestling stuff and handle Rocky Mountain Pro. So we are actively searching for a new Friday co-host. I have talked to some very interesting names that I cannot mention because, fun fact, guys, I once teased the fact that I was doing a podcast with Matt Riddle, and it didn't happen for like 3 weeks. So I'm not going to do that this time, but I've talked to some interesting names. We're still reaching out to people. If there's anybody that you all would like to see, obviously they can't be contracted by Podcast One, MLW Radio, WWE. They got to speak English because I can't speak to anybody from NJPW unless they speak English. But send us your recommendations, and we'll take a look at them and maybe make it work. But lots of cool stuff. Way more cool stuff than what happened on Monday Night Raw tonight. Guys. Anna, now you are this ray of positivity. We're going to break it down tonight. What'd you think of this show?
It wasn't one of the strongest ones. It didn't help that the crowd was shit. Like dead, completely dead. And some segments it was, understandable. That final one, that kind of picked up a bit. And then there were the Bailey chants.
Yeah, the Bailey segment, the crowd was hot. But for most of the night, I'm like, why would the crowd be into this? Somebody says, please hire Virgil. Funny story about Virgil. So when you do interviews, it's just a publicity for publicity thing. I contacted a round of people to do some interviews. And one of the responses I got back was from Virgil, who just said, and I quote, how much? That's it. How much? Virgil after that, fuck money. Sorry, Alex and Anna's mom. Sorry. Very sorry about that, but he is after it. Either way, Alex, this show, I will go as far as to say one of the worst Raws of the year, Alex. I'll say that.
Yeah, it had potential to be something more than that, but the problem is that they're doing the thing that I knew they were going to do, which is, okay, all of you guys, you've got to learn to work together because we're depending on you to come together and get on the same page and fight together for a common cause. So to that end, we're going to have you all fight each other, which makes zero sense. And they did that over and over and over and over again. And I can't take another week of this before we get to Survivor Series. There's no drama in this. We know they don't like each other. It's better to have two guys who we know don't like each other team together to fight another team and show that they can work together. That's drama, as opposed to like, oh yeah, we know you hate each other, so we're going to give in to those baser instincts and have you fight each other now. bad.
It undermined the entire point. I can't say it undermined because I don't know the point anymore. We got Seth Rollins said that he joined the Survivor Series team because he was offered a unique opportunity, which leads me to believe that Dario Cueto is actually leading up Team Raw because he loves handing out those unique opportunities. Anna, as a person who, you take a look at the most ridiculous things each week, doesn't it seem a little ridiculous that if you want to prove brand superiority, that maybe you wouldn't have the people that are going to be doing that for you beat the living shit out of each other a couple weeks before?
But even with the Rollins thing, given the whole Shane Vince lockbox scenario we had a few months ago that we still don't have an answer to, I have no faith that anything's actually going to come of this either. I
don't have faith that anything will come of anything that happens, but when they plant a seed like that, you got to hope at least, right?
Yeah, but I don't think they will. And it's just
they never do.
I'm sick
Alex.
of.
Sorry, Anna. What were you saying?
That's right.
So, Alex, this happened all throughout the night.
Mm-hmm.
It happened with the women.
Mm-hmm.
We had a tag team match that was born of this. We had a main event where they were putting each other through friggin' tables. Also, I would like to say, Braun Strowman takes the best bumps to the outside of the ring of anybody I've ever seen in my damn life, except for Taka Michinoku, who takes them flat on his face. But, Alex, why would you do this?
Because they literally don't have any other options. The thing about the women specifically, who are they going to have them face if not each other? Because there literally aren't any other women. So that's a problem.
They can all face Dana Brooke.
Not tonight, though, because they had to have a 3-on-3. I love that they made Natalya the women's coach for SmackDown Live, and Dana, I guess, is Team Raw's mascot or something.
Why couldn't they have brought in? Why couldn't they have just had a singles match, somebody versus Dana Brooke, and then next week have the 5 girls against just a jolly crew of jobbers, just the jobbiest jobbers that ever existed.
The jobbiest
and
jobbers.
Just crush them. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have these sets of 5 face other sets of 5 as a team building exercise.
Right.
I don't get it.
They're not doing that because they think that the drama inherent in making 2 guys who don't like each other fight together and then fight each other is awesome, but it's not.
It makes Stephanie look inept. It makes her look dumb for putting all these people.
Well, her little thing of, I'm going to let you get it all out of your systems just this once. No, you're not. You're going to make them fight each other next week too. Don't lie. You already have that match booked. So yeah, it doesn't work.
I'll tell you one thing I liked. Noam Dar. Anna, what'd you think about that reaction he got debuting?
That was very smart on their behalf. He's been on the road with them for a month now. So, yeah, good call. I just don't understand why they tagged him with Kendrick. And I also got very confused at one point, legitimately, as to if he was the heel or Sin Cara.
Oh, so the Sin Cara thing, I got to address that, by the way. Jesus. Oh, boy, there's a lot to talk about here. Because I've heard a couple different versions of the story. I've heard that both men were at fault, but it's one of those situations where they were both kind of douchey, but it got out of control. Him and Chris Jericho got into a fight. Sin Cara was raising some hell, being really annoying on a bus, and Chris Jericho, I've heard, was a little aggressive about it, a little too aggressive about it. Instead of just saying, hey, why don't you cut it out? I've heard that he was super aggressive about it, and Sin Cara said, and I quote, "Fuck off," and punched him in the face. Chris Jericho then bit Sin Cara, then later posted a video about how if he takes bath salts, he will eat somebody's face off, Now, keep in mind, he says this, and I don't know if he was drinking. I have no idea. But he could have been jet lagged. He could have been a lot of things. But shortly after biting a man, he talks about eating a man's face off. He was not knocked out, like people were saying. Absolutely was not knocked out. I know that for sure. I was told Sin Cara got the best of the fight. Man, these two guys are like the undisputed, just thug nasty thugs backstage. Yeah. Alex, what do you think?
I thought it was really funny that, we heard about, Sin Cara taking out Simon Gotch a couple of months ago. And we also heard about Chris Jericho getting in Brock Lesnar's face. And only a matter of time before these two guys had to fight each other, having, gone through the round robin tournament, apparently. When I heard about this, I was not surprised. But I was wondering how much pull Jericho had if he wanted Sin Cara to be, not gone, but just. I was surprised to see Sin Cara on Raw tonight. I'll say that.
Yeah, he's never struck me as the type of guy that would get somebody fired, especially over something like that. I mean, he's also gotten into some altercations, like I think with Shane Helms and their buddies. Now,
wasn't Sin Cara kicked off the bus?
Yes, he was kicked off the bus as well. Absolutely was. Now, Anna, I'm going to fire off some names to you, and you'll tell me who would win in a hypothetical fight between Sin Cara and these people.
Yeah.
Goldust.
I'd like to think Goldust. But Goldust like 96, not now.
Yeah.
Time-traveling Goldust would definitely beat Sin Cara in a fight. I agree.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah.
Bo Dallas.
I would love it to be Bo Dallas.
He's got an amateur wrestling background.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe if Curtis Axel teamed with him just once more, it'd be worth
Jinder
it.
Mahal. Answer, come on.
This guy doesn't. I feel like even if he could beat him in a fight, there'll just be Vince in the background just with people waiting to arrest him because that is just so out of the ballpark of what's realistic.
Summer Rae. Oh, Summer Rae.
I'm going to say Summer Rae. Because I believe.
Oh, man. We had a cruiserweight match. It was fine. As you mentioned, he did team with, Noam Dar did team with Brian Kendrick. I think the reason they did this was to give him a reason to, I don't know. They could have just had him win if they were looking for a reason to pop the crowd. But, of course, you don't do that in somebody's hometown. They don't win in their hometowns. That's not something they do. Alex.
They had.
We haven't talked.
They had
Dar.
Hold on,
sorry. Well, hold on a damn second, Alex. We have not talked to you since 205 Live was announced.
Yes.
And you covered the Cruiserweight Classic. Do you think what the WWE has put forth justifies the 205 Live show, or do you think that they are going to utilize that hour to justify the Cruiserweight division?
Right. I think they need to retcon some of this stuff. I think they can handle one good cruiserweight storyline on Raw. I have faith because so far they haven't shown that they can do that, but I have faith that they can do that. But they can't handle a whole division. So what this is going to do is allow you to have a lot of different things go on a separate show, an hour long. Why it's being done after SmackDown instead of at Full Sail or after NXT taping. I mean, like it's just all of this makes very little sense to me. The problem is that your normal audiences don't give two craps about the cruiserweights. So no matter when you run it, where you're going to put it, that audience still live is going to have those bad reactions. I'm kind of scared about what this is going to be, though.
And I'll say this. You are probably the type of demographic the WWE would like to go after. Do the cruiserweights interest you?
Yes, but not the way that they're doing it. I just don't understand why they have to be this specialized purple rope thing every single week. Why can't you integrate them with the other main roster, have the title that they're still going for? I don't understand the point of setting up an entirely new show when you've already tried to isolate them enough on your show anyway, and it's not working. What makes them think
they
bring people in?
Seems like a freak show.
Yeah.
I thought that Alex had a typo on his report for Golden Truth, but it's the Golden Truth.
Yeah. Yes. Basically.
Okay, so this segment, I want to say this. I'm really glad the crowd had fun. But they made everybody but Anderson and Gallows look like 9-year-olds for the next 40 minutes between all these guys in the Golden Truth segment. Oh, man. They made them all look like 9-year-olds, and I didn't like that. I'm okay with the New Day doing this sometimes. And this was the right spot for them to do this, but it wasn't the right spot for everybody else to act like children. Now, I will say that the Nielsen ratings are outdated. They're antiquated. But what they're not antiquated in is showing your demographic. And the WWE demographic isn't as young as they would like. As I mentioned, people like Anna that they seem to be going after and getting, and older men. I don't know if old dudes like the idea of all this kid play, this little kiddie. I don't like it. I know I don't. Alex, what did this do? I mean, it established that Gallows and Anderson are willing to screw these guys over for sure.
Right. What it did is it further sowed the seeds of disillusionment and, guys just not getting along, because that's the most important thing to show, that there's a chance that these guys might not work together 2 weeks from now. What's going to happen? And of course they are. I mean, you can't do that in every Survivor Series match. One of them might turn on somebody at some point, and you might have an elimination because of betrayal. But the whole thing's not going to hinge on that. But that's what they're teasing with this. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to have, a segment after they're all introduced and they come down to the ring, they go to commercial, they come back, and everyone's just running the dozens on Sheamus. And with good cause, he says, you know what? I'm leaving. I guess everyone was ganging up on poor Sheamus. And that didn't make a lot of that. That wasn't very good. They were ginger shaming him, and that wasn't okay. There was a lot of, and at one point,
we obviously disagree politically on a few things, and ginger shaming is something that I absolutely advocate.
At one point, Enzo says that Sheamus should be most afraid of dying alone. That's a little dark. I mean,
it was morbid. I was like, that's a little too much. And it didn't get a reaction because people were like, yeah, he probably should be.
It's not good. And then the one thing that saved the whole thing is New Day coming out, and Braveheart riding unicorns with, Xavier Woods playing Agnes, Francesca's cousin, the bagpipes. That was great.
Bebop from the Ninja Turtles is getting this type of disrespect wherever the hell he is right now?
I don't think so. I can't imagine that he possibly could.
Man,
I think there are laws protecting warthog Americans.
Jesus. Oh man. Anna, what did the New Day versus Gallows and Anderson? Did it have you on the edge of your seat? Where you just, I can't wait to see what happens here.
I've noticed a new thing now. Every time I hear Gallows and Anderson's music hit, dread comes over me and my stomach drops, because I just assume that they're going to be buried. So that was a nice change tonight. But so what now? That does nothing for them. So angry.
I'll tell you what happens for somebody. The Golden Truth. Now, I swear to God, if they swapped out Shining Stars for Golden Truth, because Golden Truth traded their stuff for a timeshare, they better film vignettes at the damn timeshare. This has to happen. I want a payoff of this. I'll never say that about the Golden Truth probably ever again.
You know what it's going to be, though, Sean? It's going to be from last year when Kane went on vacation to Hawaii, and they just filmed stills of him in front of a green screen and said, "Oh, here's pictures of Kane vacationing in Hawaii."
That was great. That was great.
That's what it's going to be, which would be fine because that would be hilarious.
I'm buying a green screen. Maybe I'll do it too.
Yeah.
We had a couple of video packages, Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. I liked these. I thought they were really good. Brock Lesnar says, and I quote, "I'm not going to show any fucking mercy to Bill Goldberg." I like it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Would you show any mercy to Bill Goldberg, Anna?
I personally would be too terrified to not. I was going to put in the segment last week about the slight botch that happened last week.
Oh, yeah.
As I was talking about it and talking about Brock Lesnar, something in me just like shut down and freaked out with the thought that he could possibly see this and then come and kill me. So
he's not making an international flight for that. He wouldn't even go to Glasgow for Raw.
No, that's the thing. Okay, I'd get a phone call or something from his PA to say, come over to where he is. And then I'd jump on a plane, get over there, and then turn up just to be punched in the face.
You spent some time in America, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
How long were you in America?
I lived there for 2 years.
Hot diggity damn. So it's not out of the question that you might get speared out of your little Chuck Taylors or whatever you wear.
Yes, I would die.
Damn. It would be it'd be like the Nunzio spear from 2004 Royal Rumble. Planted.
That's a pretty good way to go, though. If I can choose my death, it would be by Brock Lesnar.
Alex, what did you think of these video packages?
The thing that I noticed the most about the Goldberg one was that they cleverly and very cleanly edited out Rusev entirely. That not just the botched knee, but no jackhammer. It was just the thing of, Heyman getting in Goldberg's face, and then they cut to Heyman spearing him, and they were able to actually just completely edit the fact out that he leapt over Rusev's prone body to do so. But the other one, the Lesnar one, was great. Anytime you can have Lesnar speaking for himself and not Heyman, it just further reinforces the fact to me that he only has Heyman because he doesn't want to memorize scripts. Like, if you could tell all this is unscripted and it's just him being a giant murder machine. And
I think that's the best way to do it, like the way that they've done it on Talking Smack.
Yeah, he's so good at making me think he might actually eat a man. You know what I mean? Like, I think he might just snap one day and eat a man.
I'm here with a couple of professionals in the acting realm, in Alex and Anna. Anna, I'll ask you, when you have to do, obviously you're not threatening people's lives usually, although I did see you threaten a fetus's life one time, which got you the job. An abortion monologue got you this job.
Yep.
What's the difference in that? Like, if you were cutting a promo, would you prefer to have it scripted for you? You're also doing some pro wrestling training, which I didn't mention. Would you rather do it off the cuff? Would you rather do it scripted, since you're kind of used to that scripting?
It really depends. I mean, I think if you look back in the good old days of wrestling, they had the writers that would write the specific characters, and the performers were the ones in charge of the character. They take suggestions, but at the end of the day, it's go and do your thing because they know the character that well. Now they have so many writers. I don't know what the system is, but it doesn't seem to be working, and they're not trusting the talent. And it's so stupid because you look on Talking Smack and they're getting themselves over. Why can't they just let them do that out there?
Everybody's getting themselves over on Talking Smack. Baron Corbin got himself over on Talking Smack. Damn. Alex.
Damn fine job of it, yeah.
What about you? You've got obviously an acting background as well.
Yeah.
That's something that you would prefer to do off the cuff or have stuff prepared?
I would prefer to get some talking points and kind of write it out myself and memorize it. It's hard to improv stuff, but I think that it's much better to have somebody who knows the character you're trying to portray specifically, knows what they would say and what they wouldn't, and would work with you trying to like flesh out a series of how this guy would address this particular person. That's fine. The problem is they have just these people who are writing the same crap for everybody, which is why you have Rollins delivering lines that probably were written for Roman 6 months ago, you know, and it just doesn't. I mean, Sparkle Crotch is directly out of the Tater Tots playbook. It's
hell yeah,
exact promo. And
that's one step closer to Suffering Succotash. Yep. It really is. It really is. For all the negativity that comes out about Vince Russo, Elijah Burke, the Pope D'Angelo Gennaro, one time told me what he really liked about Vince Russo is that Vince came up to him and said, I can give you ideas, but I'm a 50-year-old guy, white guy from New York. I can't write for you. I am not you. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what your character's mindset is. You have to help me with that. I don't know what it is in WWE that they don't do, that doesn't happen, but we see it come through on Talking Smack every single week. We see it, and there's almost always something that somebody messages me and says, you got to watch Talking Smack. I didn't need to watch Shining Stars versus Golden Truth, but I did. That's the extent of that segment that we'll talk about. We had an in-ring segment with the women of Survivor Series. Charlotte, I think, has become a really good heel. She calls the SmackDown team a bunch of peasants. We were introduced to Nia Jax and Alicia Fox, she was terrible, but I almost think it was by design.
Man, that was bad.
She's psycho in her role. Anna, do you think it was intentionally bad or accidentally bad?
The whole thing, or just Alicia Fox?
Just Alicia Fox talking about Brangelina.
That's a fine line between funny crazy and just like, what the fuck are you doing kind of crazy.
They had to shoehorn the Brangelina thing in there. They just had to.
I hate it when they do that. Just like that is the pop culture references is once again like blurring who are you actually trying to target with this stuff. I don't know. I like Alicia Fox and I love her crazy thing, but I
loved it
to be rewritten.
Yeah, I loved it when she would go bananas at ringside and just tear stuff up and like pour Cokes out in the middle of the aisle. I loved that. It made her a little bit different, and people were like, "Well, that's a stereotypical crazy girl role." No, not when she did it. There was nothing stereotypical about the way that she did it. She did it as good as anybody I've ever seen it. There was some audio editing here, but needless to say, Bayley was over with this crowd. They did the "Hey Bayley" chant forever. I mean, forever. I hope that a guy named Vince McMahon sees what he has with Bayley, understands it, and applies it. Alex, do you think that will happen?
No, not a chance in hell. He hates it. He hates that it's not him who's decided Bayley's going to get over, so I'm going to make everyone love her, and therefore they'll love her because it was my idea. If someone gets over organically, that's a really surefire way of getting cooled off. So,
fortunately, a couple of the other people who are at the top are pretty good in Charlotte and Sasha Banks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When stuff like this happens, I feel so bad for Charlotte trying so hard to keep control of this thing, which is a runaway train that she can't manage. Nobody could. Like, it was just craziness. The only time they stopped is when Sasha decided, I'm going to sing along with you guys. Like, that was a really cool, like, off-the-cuff moment that really seemed to, like, the crowd goes, hey, somebody actually really responded in a positive way to the things we're doing. We'll stop now. You know? Because there's no greater way to keep a crowd doing something than to tell them to stop.
Yes. Speaking of the women's division, we got another Emelina promo. I once got cursed at for referring to Anna as Annalena. Anna
not just once. It's a daily basis.
But, okay, Emma, the fellow Aussie, I think she's fantastic. Don't know about this Instagram model gimmick. What do you think about this compared to her last two gimmicks, which is quirky Australian who throws her hands around and then badass who wears aviators and does it pretty well?
Why do they have to change it from the badass? Like, I actually kind of wanted for this women's segment for her to come out as, you know, normal Emma and then take them all on, because she could have in that. But now it's like, what is this?
She should have stolen Dana Brooke back.
Oh, did
That's
you
what I would have done.
Didn't she kick her ass on the weekend?
I don't know. I haven't seen that video. Somebody sent me the video, but I haven't opened it up yet. I'm excited for Emma to come back. I don't think it'll be before Survivor Series, though, because I think they want to keep her way away from that.
Yeah, they'll wait until after that reboot of the thing. The stuff that happened in this women's tag match that was interesting to me was all Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks related. Like, there was a point where she ran through Sasha like she was made out of paper. And I was like, if I could trust Sasha to work that program without possibly getting broken, what a cool dynamic between this girl who's 110 pounds soaking wet and this force of nature that is Nia Jax. There's money to be made in a feud between the two of them. And I was the whole time I was just, because Sasha left before Nia got to NXT, so we never got to see them in that realm. And I've been waiting to see that feud for a while, and I'm excited to see what comes of it.
Yeah, Nia is sturdy enough to take all the crazy shit that Sasha Banks does throughout the course of a match and a feud. So I'm interested in seeing that. We've had a lot of backstage segments, sometimes involving Braun Strowman, who is a much better talker than he has any business being at this stage. He has become a pleasant surprise for me. Anna, did you ever expect Braun Strowman to be this interesting, or does he even interest you?
I love him. I love him so much. Every time he speaks, though, I'm just expecting him to finish with "I am Groot," and that's all you need. That segment with Rollins and that was sold by Rollins' facial expressions. That was perfect. Oh, I love him.
Seth Rollins, he's always had good reactions, especially dating back to when he did the stuff with New Day and he was their captain or whatever. He always had great stuff, and like, you can tell it's natural for him. I would watch him in the Madden tournament games on Up, Up, Down, Down, which is like my favorite thing wrestling related to watch every week is WWE wrestlers playing football video games. It's the best. It's the best. You all need to go check it out. It's just such a natural thing for him. Alex, I feel like you were on the Braun Strowman hype train early, but I can't remember. I've been on the Braun Strowman hype train since he was with the Wyatts. I always thought that whenever they would let him have 3 or 4 words during one of those weird, smoky, backroom weed shack promos that they would do, that I was like, hey, this guy can talk. He can put words together, and his voice sounds like it was dredged up from the bowels of hell. It's this amazing, deep, brilliant thing. The way he's like, I'm on Team Braun. Like, yes, we're all on Team Braun. Everyone's with you, buddy. You can do whatever you want. Hey, okay. I love that thing. And like, I'm gonna snap you in half like a twig. Yes, that's fine. You probably could do that, and I'd like to watch. He's great. And I'm so happy that they allowed him to work and to develop new things to do. He was the star by far of the Fatal 5-Way at the end. Like, giving stuff to people, taking stuff from people, really showing that he has what it takes to be a great worker, even at his enormous size, and the fact that he's still really green. Like, he's got a lot of room to improve, and I feel like he can and he will. The fact that everyone was like, oh no, eventually they're going to have this guy wrestle Brock, and it's just going to be terrible. Like, now, I have to see Strowman versus Brock at some point. Before Brock says, you know what, I'm peacing out and leaving. I got to see it at some point. I always think back to when I spoke to one of my contacts at the Performance Center, and they told me that, like, especially he came in and he practiced just for his Royal Rumble elimination. He came in and he worked on that. And as I said, it resulted in him taking the best bumps to the outside of the ring of anybody in the company. Anna, you highlighted a thing last week where TJ Perkins, who is half his size, almost broke his fucking neck going to the outside of the ring.
Oh,
it was horrifying. So I'm all on board with Braun Strowman. I like him. Sami Zayn versus Rusev. Stephanie McMahon hates Rusev. She channeled her inner Vince McMahon, or Vince Russo rather. Absolutely hates Vince Russo, or hates Sami Zayn. She probably hates Vince Russo too. But she hates Sami Zayn, and for some reason, because she hates him so much, she lets him have an opportunity to face Rusev with the winner Ziggler's Open Challenge Intercontinental title match. Well, first, besides the fact that Stephanie McMahon looks like a moron for putting a guy that she hates in this match, Zayn won and almost took off Rusev's ear with that haluva kick. Wow. Like, you don't realize how close he was to losing an ear. Like, guys, that shit doesn't hang on by much. Had he been facing the other way, I think it would have been gone. Like, if he was facing the ring post, oh, his ear is toast. This match ended a little earlier than I would have thought. I think they could have a good program. But going back to Braun Strowman, Sami Zayn had a little thing going on with him. Do you think they've abandoned that altogether, Anna?
Probably. I don't know. I think it's on pause, definitely because of Survivor Series. I would love Sami Zayn to get the title, and I'd love him to go to SmackDown. They would
be a good fit.
So much better.
I think that'd be a good fit, especially if he's not going to be involved in the Cruiserweight division. When they started listing him at 205 instead of 212, which is unusual. Alex, your thoughts on that statement? Because they never said that, well, they get to take the title to Raw. They just said, you get this could also be a thing where Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon pull one over on Stephanie McMahon.
Right. The thing that they said tonight, though, was Stephanie was very specific in if you are able somehow to beat Rusev, you better bring that Intercontinental title back to Raw.
Okay. So
I think we're
I
supposed
tune
to,
her out.
Me normally, but I got to write about this stuff. So so I think we're to assume that the title will move, not the person who wins the title. So I guess if Sami somehow were to win, he could have a feud that regenerates with Braun, but he also, I mean, I think it would be a very natural fit. And they worked really well together in a quick match of Rusev versus Sami, because Rusev was doing some really great stuff of, why don't you stay down? Your little punches and forearms don't hurt me, tiny man. And I love Rusev when he gets frustrated, when he keeps getting near falls, because then he does something stupid. Like climbing to the second rope to do what? What are you doing up on the top rope, Rusev? You're taking a haluva kick to the ear, which was a legitimately great way to end the match. I just felt like it, like you said, it was a little too quick. But I think this could be a preview of something at some point in the future that could be really great between the two of them.
It's election day tomorrow. I'll probably ask the people, should we do a show tomorrow night or should I hold off till Wednesday afternoon? Because, I mean, if like two of you are here to watch it, I'll just wait until Wednesday afternoon and do the show. Yeah. But, I mean, I know a lot of you will be tuned into election coverage and may not give a damn about SmackDown. So if you all want me to wait till Wednesday.
Not SmackDown Live either. SmackDown taped.
Yeah, SmackDown taped. So if you guys want me to wait until Wednesday afternoon, I can probably swing that. I'll have to check Jeff's schedule, but either way, if he can't do it, we got a guy named Alex who's he's on salary now, so it's okay.
Right. I'll just do whatever you tell me to anyway.
Somebody says, F the election, it's rigged anyway. That I can assure you is not true. It is not rigged. That's about as far as I will go into politics. But man, it's getting lit in our chat room on YouTube. I'm all flustered. It has me concerned. We may not exist Wednesday to do a show. Damn. Main event, we had a Shield tease, but really is a 2/3 Shield tease. Is like, what's the damn point?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't.
They're definitely going somewhere with it because I think I sent you. I saw on the WWE show on the weekend.
They've got a lot of retro shirts on there though, but they
haven't
just
had that one on. I've been looking for it. They haven't had that one on in a very long time.
You have been actively looking for a Hounds of Justice shirt?
Yes.
Did we make a great hire or what, you guys? Man. I love the Shield too. I think that they should have been this generation's Rock, Triple H, and Steve Austin. Those three guys. And it's not hard to tell which was going to be which either. The templates were already there. All three of them were over to the degree in which they needed to be over. It's just, man, such a shame. Such a shame. I still have hopes that somebody says magically finding misplaced votes for Bush in the past. But hey, it's not rigged, right? I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole, but no, it's not rigged. It's not rigged. That I can assure you. Hey, go look at Edward Snowden's tweets. I'll say that. It's the only time I'll ask you to go look at anything of Edward Snowden's. Either way, main event time. The finish came when Roman Reigns, Superman punched Kevin Owens, and he landed on Chris Jericho. What did you think of the finish, Anna?
I liked it. I was concerned that they were going to try and push the split before Survivor Series. This is a good compromise. When do we know if he's going off with Fozzy yet?
I don't know. I know he just signed a new record deal, but I don't know when the tour starts. I'll look up Fozzy tour right now.
Yeah, the end was funny just because Roman somehow fell out of the ring after punching Owens. caused the pinfall, but wasn't there to break it up. The whole thing was just this thing where Braun took so much damage, he took a nap on the table for about 5 minutes, waiting for Rollins to powerbomb Jericho onto him, and then he was out of it. He was out of it for the rest of that thing. But he was the star of the first half of the match, and then wasn't even present at the end. But I mean, I thought this whole thing was fine and good, but still doesn't make any sense. Why are these guys who are teammates fighting each other? There's
no tour dates, by the way. None. As of yet. He's staying forever.
Right. Hooray. We'll never lose the list of Jericho. It can stay forever.
So I'm in a Skype chat with the owner of Fightful, Jimmy Van, and his tech team. And every time, like when there's an issue, like we're adding a feature section. I want the block quote shaded in. Every time I mention something like that, the girl Lindsay, who works on our tech team, will go, I'll add that to my list. And I'm just like, yeah, your list. I can't help it. But I thought this was a good way to end the match. It teases the Jericho Owens thing a little bit more. So I'm cool with it. But overall, there was some pretty decent on the show, but otherwise, oh my God, this was just. You didn't have to watch this show at all. You could have watched the YouTube clip of Rusev versus Sami Zayn, and you would have been absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. A lot of you guys are wanting me to wait till Wednesday. I'll see how that goes, guys. Clear it with Jimmy Van, perhaps. Also, I need to address this. John Jones, suspended for a year, retroactive to July. He is still the UFC interim light heavyweight champion. I don't know what they're doing with that title. I've reached out to the UFC. They haven't got back to me. He basically took, as he called it, dick pills. And it had banned substances in it. He was cleared of any intentional wrongdoing. He did not take a performance-enhancing drug. It was proven to be a tainted supplement, but they encouraged the arbitration panel that levied down or that handed down the suspension said that they didn't want to give a 6-month suspension that Yoel Romero and Tim Means got. So what this means for Brock Lesnar as well, if he took that same supplement, because he paid for that same substance, he could maybe, well, he's probably only facing a year fine anyway, or a year suspension anyway, but John Jones will be back in 8 months. And compared to a year and 8 months, that's a hell of a lot better. That's better for him. It's better for the UFC, better for all involved. Now he's just got to stay out of trouble. But his name is cleared as far as being a PED user goes as it relates to that situation. I'll talk more about this on Wednesday with Showdown Joe, of course, but had to bring that up. That UFC light heavyweight title, I think UFC 206 in Toronto. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with MMA, I'll run down this UFC 205 card for you because holy shit, it's worth me doing that for. Former title challenger Liz Carmouche facing Caitlin Chikagan. That's a top 15 fight. You also have Natal, Tim Boach, Jim Miller, Thiago Alves. Those are on Fight Pass. On the Fox Sports 1 prelims, you have former UFC light heavyweight champion Rashad Evans making his middleweight debut against Tim Kennedy. You have Khabib Nurmagomedov, who is probably fighting for a title shot against Michael Johnson. You have former lightweight champion Frankie Edgar taking on Jeremy Stevens. Then on the UFC 205 main card, pay-per-view card, live viewing party for all this stuff, former bantamweight champion Miesha Tate takes on Raquel Pennington. Donald Cowboy Cerrone, arguably the most exciting fighter in MMA, takes on Kelvin Gastelum. Former middleweight champion Chris Weidman faces Yoel Romero. The winner probably gets the title shot. Then 3 championship fights. Joanna Jędrzejczyk defends against Karolina Kovacevic. Tyron Woodley defends against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And Eddie Alvarez defends the lightweight championship against the featherweight champion, Conor McGregor. He looks to become the first person in UFC history to hold 2 titles simultaneously. Hot damn. I can't wait. I can't wait. So, Anna, I'll ask you this before we go. How's the wrestling training been going?
Good. Had training last night.
What was that like? Good. How's bumping?
Well, that was my first time bumping in a ring on the weekend. And
bumping in a ring, or the first time bumping in a ring on the weekend?
In a ring.
Okay.
I can move
canvas burn and all that.
Huh?
You get the canvas burn and all that stuff?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love it though. I really love being like, I got a body slam. That was so much fun.
So how long have you been at it? You just started, right?
Yeah. I think a month. And they've got me in to do, I'm a valet for the shows. That's
nice.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. Nice. Alex, when are we going to get you to take some bumps?
I don't know. I guess we may have to talk about an increase in pay for Hazard.
Let's write a wrestling stage play.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't that work?
It certainly could. It's all basically choreographed fighting anyway.
Yeah. So there was, I had my wedding at an opera house, and one of the ideas floated around among the psychos that I am friends with was to have Broken Matt Hardy officiate my wedding, and then the curtains pull and there's a wrestling ring and he tries to stop my wedding. But EC3, who is a buddy of mine, comes to the rescue and saves the wedding. My wife was thrilled that shit didn't happen.
That would have been amazing.
They almost bought EC3 a ticket to come to my like a flight to come to my wedding to make some of this happen, and I was like, guys, you gotta calm the shit down. you gotta maybe put my life, my future with my wife and how she's going to react to the situation in perspective. Damn. 100 episodes. And Anna's been here for every single one of them.
Yeah.
As I make my Fightful podcast debut tonight. I'm a rookie. Anna, what can we expect? What are some of the early spots we can expect on your Most Ridiculous this week?
I think I think the one that takes the entire show tonight of Raw was the Shining Stars earning a place in Survivor Series. And the thing is, when Golden Truth actually came out as a part of the team, initially my first reaction was, well, at least it's not Shining Stars.
There's no Titus on this week's show, so you're gonna. Usually, you could do a top 10 ridiculous things that Titus O'Neil does and says every week.
You know what? It's between him and Byron with the stupidest shit that's said on Raw.
Oh man, Alex, what do you have in store for this week? Besides, somebody says maybe Raj Giri can be the Friday co-host. I'm still on great terms with Raj Giri, guys. Like, I know you all throw that out there. I'm still on great terms with Raj. But Alex, I understand you're doing the reaction pieces again.
Yes, starting those back up now that I'm full time and have all that time to dedicate to those. But also, we'll be doing editing and writing some news articles for this. So we have a little thing that might be coming out later this week about the official breakup of the Cosmic Wasteland and the sad story therein. Yeah, well, so I'll be doing a Raw reaction, SmackDown React Down, and then I'll be able to probably do the individual shows, NXT and Lucha as individual pieces, quick hits, because those are just hour-long shows. But I'll definitely get those things out every week, and you guys can read my musings on what is either super awesome or dreck. I usually don't have anything in between. It's usually one or the other.
I am working on an investigative piece about TNA and Jeff Jarrett's guitars. This is a legit thing. Hashtag ask questions, guys. Hey, if you are American, go vote tomorrow, please. Please do it. Wake up at 6 a.m. Subscribe to the Fightful podcast on YouTube. Visit the Fightful.com page. If you don't like wrestling, MMA, or boxing, go to /wrestling, /MMA, /boxing. Clickety-clack on all those little articles. Then go vote. Priorities. Fightful, then vote, then Fightful again. Don't go vote again because you'll get arrested. Big decision for y'all tomorrow, guys. I'll assess the response and see if we'll do a show tomorrow or Wednesday afternoon because, like I said, more important things going on than the Fightful podcast tomorrow evening, technically. If you all want to download audio of this, go to our podcast page. A lot of you always ask me about that. I swear it's coming to iTunes soon. Bitch at them. Tag Apple on Twitter. Tell them that you want it on there because it's them. It's not us. Until next time, guys, follow us at Fightful Online. We are out.